Welcome to Damage Boost. I'm your host, Brok, Holliday. And today, we're doing a grab bag. So let's jump into it. Alright, let me grab my big bag of ideas. Set it on the table. That's improvising, that's acting. But to talk about the things I will pull from my bag, I had to bring on one of my favorite guests, one of my most bearded guests, TetraBitGaming.
Hello, I still do have my beard. You caught me on a beard day.
I want to talk about your beard real quick, and it's
Sure.
going to sound weird. And I don't know if I brought this up because I think we do talk about your facial hair a lot. One, it's impressive. Like, I think I'm 8 years older than you. I cannot grow a beard still. I'm a 33-year-old man who cannot grow a beard. Like, it's awful. And
Really?
I'm impressed by. Oh yeah, it's bad. It's so patchy and white trash. Very like awful. And it like the hair doesn't come in like beard hair. It's very much like if you shave your head really short, like kind of that hair. It doesn't.
Okay, so like really stubbly.
Yeah, and it doesn't not get stubble, and I look predatorial when I have it, and not like in an intimidating way, but in like a pull your child closer to yourself kind of way, and like it's just not a good feeling. Like I've been told just to like use a certain product in it. I think like Rogaine, I was told that would help. And then, like, just deal with, like, they always say when you grow your hair out long, you have to grow a mullet, and then you power through that, and then you get awesome, like, rock and roll hair.
Sure.
And I think I've been told, basically, I have to get through the chin mullet stage of that. But I just don't have the patience. So, I don't. Well, I bring up your beard because you do, like you said, sometimes on streams you'll come on clean-shaven, right?
Yes.
And so my dad had a goatee my entire life, right? And I think I was about 17 or 18 years old, and he just, or at least a mustache, like facial hair. And one day he's like, came out clean shaven. He's like, I thought I'd do it once. And I just like, I'm not going to talk to you for 2 weeks, so I didn't. So, and like when you came out, sometimes when your stream comes to clean shaven, I'm like, oh, that's what he looks like. So,
It's
and
funny.
it's startling. In a great way. You're a very handsome way, man, either way. Not in the like, oh my God, like, what is that? And then like when you see someone a certain way, and like most of our communications is podcast online, so I don't actually see you a whole lot. So I'm,
Right.
my mental picture when we talk is bearded Tetra, because that's typically what you are.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting you bring that up because like for me, I don't like for me it's like usually once a month I'll just completely shave or whatever. So personally, it's like I'm not used to it, but I also, when people get not shocked when I stream, when I shave or whatever, but when they make a point of it, I guess I have to remind myself that like these people like physically see me only like a handful of times a month. So like if it's like 25% of the time they see me or if it's like 85% of the time they see me is with the full beard, and the other whatever 15% without it, I guess it's pretty jarring. But it's just funny because there's like a disconnect between like what it actually is and I guess what people see me when I stream or whatnot. So it's just funny every time I stream. Everyone, even after all these months, people still like make a big point of it every time. It's funny.
It's a constant chatter if you're clean shaven.
Yeah. The running lore is that I put a vanish cap from Super Mario 64 on each individual hair to make them vanish.
I like that. That's amazing. I would like to see an animated short of the like Mario having to run around, put a vantage cap on each hair as you're doing that. That'd be amazing.
Oh hell yeah!
I'm just jealous I can't grow a beard. I know we have other stuff we're gonna talk about, but I will die not ever having a full beard.
Have you tried the? Because I don't know. I always thought Rogaine was for your head, but I guess they probably make some sort of like facial stuff too.
I'm probably misremembering the product I was told.
Okay.
It was something to do with like the way it makes it grow, and it was some kind of thing like that. So I don't remember. And as someone who's super afraid of like losing their hair, I don't mind buying Rogaine.
Sure.
I don't buy Rogaine yet, but I do buy special shampoo that's like anti hair thinning and stuff like that because I'm short.
Sure.
And as a short man, I'm also fat, right? So if you're tall, you can be bald and fat, but if you're short, you can't be bald and fat, right? You have to be bald and muscular, yeah. And I don't want to work out or take the effort to get in shape, so I need to keep my hair so I don't have to get skinny, or at least in shape. So that is why I take care of the top part much better. Well, I guess awkwardly transitioning. Speaking of removal, I know no, that wasn't gonna work. I was trying to think of something how you could remove Lego hair and hats and stuff, but it just didn't work. Something we had talked about was the release of what's the technical name of it? Because it's the Complete Saga. Is that what it's called, or is it the Skywalker?
It's the Skywalker Saga.
Skywalker Saga. Okay, thank you.
Which can be confusing because the Complete Saga is no longer the Complete Saga because that's the one that was released. Was for the Wii, PC. I think it was Xbox 360. I'm not sure about PS3 or not. But yeah, that just had movies 1 through 6.
Right.
Which back then was complete, but obviously since then we've got a whole bunch of new movies. But yeah, so I think it's the full name is Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Calling the last 3 movies is a little bit of a strong word.
Yeah.
And you've made a couple videos on it, correct?
So I've only eventually I will. I've only covered the first 2 Lego Star Wars games, the original ones, from I guess almost 20 years ago.
They're so good though.
They're very good. They're
really funny.
That's the thing. I mean, I think the thing that holds up is just the humor, and it's just it's humor that's not too childish, where it's even when you're older, if you're an adult, it's silent humor because no one's talking. It's all just visual gags, and I think it really holds up.
Those games are timeless. Honestly, those original Lego runs of games.
Yep.
Pretty especially God, is it really 20 years?
Almost. I think the first one was released 2005.
I'm so fucking old.
God,
I remember playing those and buying those. I was so pumped when they come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they played well. They were imaginative. They looked good. Like you said, without talking, they were funnier than hell.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is the graphics are so simple too, so it's not it's not complex models or anything even for GameCube, that era of games standards. It's just pretty simple blocks. I mean, it's Lego, so it's pretty simple stuff. So the graphics certainly do age pretty well, just because they are just so simple.
And then you could play it how you want. You got it had probably some of the best or most fun lightsaber fights, and just using a lightsaber and all those, blocking them, hitting all the different, and or if you just get bored with your buddy and you just blow each other up because it's funny to see all your pieces fly everywhere.
Yeah, because I played the game first on the GameCube when it came out, the first one, with my brother, and I think that was the most at the time. That was the most open world game I have ever played. Just because you can kind of play the game at your own pace. It's linear, but you can still kind of explore and find little hidden things all around the place. And you can play the free play mode, so you can swap between 8 different characters in a given level. So there's just so much to do. And like you said, the lightsaber battles. I think in the hub world, I think you play in the first game. You play in Dexter's Diner from episode 2, and there's just characters roaming everywhere. But as soon as you pick a fight with one, a huge brawl just breaks out. Everyone kind of just starts fighting, and then they just keep fighting until the last person standing, and then everyone just goes back to business as usual. It was super fun. It's
so cute, but outrageous. that scenario I love.
Yeah,
it's what makes me want to buy the new ones currently. I haven't done it yet because I'm poor, but and my kids, I'm gonna get them at some point because those games, and even with the newer ones adding dialogue and voice acting, they're still really fucking funny.
Yeah, the humor's still there. They actually did add an option, it's called mumble mode, so they do take away the actual voice acting, and they make it more silent, but it doesn't quite work as well because although the characters aren't talking, you still have the subtitles, and it's the way the story was written, kind of for these games, kind of almost needs the dialogue, the way the characters move. So it's like it wasn't made with the idea of it being like silent humor completely. So
Right.
when I turned it off for a little bit, and it kind of didn't work for me, unfortunately. So I put the dialogue back on. But yeah, like you said, even with the voice acting, like the humor is still pretty good, pretty solid.
So is mumble mode kind of like old school Star Fox, or it'd be like the mouths moving, they're like the blah 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 blah, blah, and you see like the text scrolling towards the bottom, and that was supposed
Pretty
to be
much,
yeah.
Even like it's more so like the characters from Peanuts, where they just like, where it's not like Banjo-Kazooie where they like say the same kind of syllables. It actually just sounds like they're mumbling the line. So it's like
So like you call it ball gag mode. It
pretty
just
much.
sounds like you're in a ball gag right now.
Honestly, pretty much like, yeah, it's just like someone just like shut their lips and they're trying to speak. Yeah.
I mean, I like the intention there. It sounds like
Yeah.
a good idea, but yeah, no. I guess it would be weird when it's not designed to work both ways.
Yeah.
But
So I think they like added it out, like instead of building it on top of that, which I understand. Like obviously, like it's just like a little side feature that they added for hardcore fans of the original way. But it definitely seems like they finished the game and then they just like made it as like a thing on top of that rather than building on it from the get go. Which I guess again makes sense. I'm sure most people will just play the game with voice acting, but it's still nice to have.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen through TikTok with the new game, because you cannot kill younglings in the new game, but people use, well, I can't remember the exact term, but it's like child flight. Have you seen that?
No.
So this is like, so I guess in like the hub world, like there's not certain areas you can't go to.
Okay.
Maybe it might be just a certain part of the game, but when you basically beat children with lightsabers, they don't die, but you naturally
Oh,
go
yeah.
up, right? And
Right,
so like
okay.
people just beat them and they'll go up and they'll use that and just like keep beating them and fly to different parts of the level they're not supposed to access right away. And it's called child flight. So just having the children explode because they're Legos, like it's whatever, but
Yeah.
they're just like, no, you beat this child as they moan in pain and fly with that across the
Jeez.
game. So that's
Oh,
where the
man.
new one's at.
That's the new workaround. Yeah.
And it's like, it sucks 'cause I bet they're gonna patch it out because they don't want that look of people beating children to travel from place to place, which I
Yeah.
get, but they could also leave it because it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, even like it's just Legos at the end of the day. It's not like you're actually doing it to real children or whatever. Even like real looking children. Because like I think in the original games you could blow up like Anakin or like all the little maybe not the younglings. I don't think that scene was in the original trilogy, but I think like
It would have been
child
awesome if it
characters-
was. If you just go in there as Anakin and you're hitting
Oh,
all these
man.
kids and they're exploding into basically Lego money.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that would be so beautiful. I bet they'd get their asses in trouble for that, but I think it's funny.
Probably.
I did see too, and it wasn't like real people were upset about it, but there were a few people bitching because they took away Lego Leia's cleavage.
Oh, I saw that.
I was like, really? Like, there's the internet. Like, don't get me wrong. I get that the whole world is thirsty. Like, but to be upset that Legos don't have cleavage is the weirdest damn thing to me. I'm not kink shaming or anything. I just like, it's a Lego.
I want to believe that I've seen the post. I want to believe that it was like at least semi-ironic, but you never know, I guess. Right.
So I'm gonna tell you this based off what we just talked about, and you and probably everyone listening is not gonna believe me, but a lot of people will post on TikTok the non-sexual scenes from porn parody movies, like ones that were like the Guardian of the Galaxy, like where they legit like do all the makeup and try to do the voices and stuff.
Okay.
There is a literal Lego movie porn parody movie, and they are in giant Lego outfits.
Oh, I was gonna ask if it was like animated, but it's
No, they're
real.
literal in giant square, like, and not
no.
small, like where it's just like to them, and like they just have their head sticking through and they're painted yellow, like kind of
Oh,
like
jeez.
yeah. So I guess when I say I was shocked that people were upset about Lego Leia's cleavage being gone, that I guess I shouldn't be shocked because apparently there's enough of a market where they make Lego movie parody pornos.
It's a genuine concern.
Oh my god, I'm feeling a little bit exhausted. So, just a little peek behind the curtain for the listeners here. Before we got going, we were just kind of throwing out some grab bag ideas, and I brought up the Halo show, which you said you hadn't seen yet, and then I kind of ranted about it on accident to you, and you were a good friend. You just sat there and took it, and you gave me that I'm here for you, buddy vibes. But I just laid into it for like, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes, and I feel so tired. And then I was feeling good. We're having a good start to the podcast, and then I'm like, oh god, people are angry about Lego boobs. Oh god, there's Lego porn. The world is too much for my soul sometimes. Which one is your favorite though? The ones you've played, not necessarily the ones you covered, but the ones you played.
Sure. Well, I haven't played through the entirety of the new one. I'm only I want to say halfway through episode 2, and I'm playing them in order from 1 to 9. So I haven't fully had the experience with the new game. It's really fun though. I really am enjoying it. Definitely a lot of quality of life improvements. And I wasn't really following the development of this game too much. When it came out, I assumed it was a straight up remake of the original ones, but it's completely different. They completely added new areas to the game. It's a lot more open world. It's almost when I play it, I kind of compare it to Mario Odyssey, where it's you can play the main story, but there's also little side quests you can do on the side to get the extra Lego bricks or whatever you need for extra bonuses. And it's just little stuff turn on all these lights outside of Coruscant and you get a brick kind of thing. So it's super fun. If you're just exploring, it'll reward you with little bonuses like that. And I think it's really similar to a game like Mario, maybe not Mario 64, more so Mario Odyssey, because it is really small kind of extra missions. But it's really cool. The graphics are super good. Again, I think it's the models and stuff are pretty simple. There are some more complex models in the game for sure, but for the most part, it's pretty simple stuff. So the graphics with the lighting just are able to look much better, I guess, easier.
Yeah.
But it's really good. But that said, I can't really speak on the full game because I haven't played it yet. So far, I think I think arguably the best one would be the Complete Saga, the one that was the remake on during the Wii and Xbox 360 days.
Yes.
Just because that one is a remake of the first 2 Lego Star Wars games, and then some. It kind of just better graphics. It added missions that were previously cut from the game and stuff. And it's a lot of fun. So that one's still, I think, the best, but I haven't played the new one, so I can't really make the comparison yet. I probably pick that one.
So I'm trying to remember, because I've played all but same with you, the newer ones, and I have mostly vague memories because it's been so long. I rebought them on the 360 before my 360 crapped out. Okay. I played it with my kids a little bit, but I think it was episode 1 was probably my favorite because it might have been it was the first one I played, and it was the silent one. I know they kind of basically shit on Jar Jar silently through most of that, and it was really funny. I think that was probably my favorite. Mm-hmm. Of all of them, just because shitting on Jar Jar is always funny. Yeah. You're a Star Wars fan too, right?
I used to be much more of a Star Wars fan.
Right.
Now I still enjoy the series, but I haven't really kept up with all the new Disney Plus shows and all that stuff. I don't know. I don't want to say I've been disenfranchised after the last 3 movies, but I've kind of just fallen off. I guess it kind of just lost my interest since then.
Yeah, I know. I feel you. I used to be I used to live and breathe it, and then I kind of slowed down. The internet kind of and the fandom kind of made it a lot harder than it used to be.
Yeah, for me, it's not really the fandom. For me, it was just just too much of it, and I kind of just I think part of it is just I just can't keep up, or I can't be bothered to keep up with a new show every couple of months kind of thing. Where it's just because before it's you had the 6 movies, you kind of just had to find your own stuff to explore. Now it's just they're. And I don't want to say it's a bad thing. Obviously, more content can always be good, but I don't know. It's just been too much, and it's I can't be bothered to follow everything anymore, kind of thing.
What about Rogue One? How'd you feel about Rogue One?
I liked Rogue One a lot, actually. I think,
me too.
In my opinion, I think it was the best Star Wars movie outside of the original like 6. I thought it was like really good. I would almost, well, I honestly I would say it's better than Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Not perfect. I think it would, like, for me, like the biggest gripe after seeing it, I appreciated that they kind of led up to the start of episode 4, but I wish they almost did a little bit more, where it's like right as the movie ends is right as episode 4 starts, like shot for shot, like it's like exactly right as the next one started. I feel like that it's like a small detail, but I think that would have just been super cool, and that's just like a me thing, obviously. But in general, I thought the movie was really good. I thought like for the spin-off movies, if you want to call them, I thought it was way better than Han Solo, which I thought was kind of mid. It was okay. And what was the other one?
Was there another one?
Was there Solo, Rogue One? I thought there was a third one, wasn't there?
I think had a lot, because they planned to release a Star Wars movie a year, and then Solo sucked, and then the last two were both Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker were both critically reamed.
Right.
So I think they backed out on a lot, because I think there was supposed to be a Boba Fett movie before the show, if I remember correctly.
Maybe that's what it was, or maybe it was like the Obi-Wan and they just moved it to a show instead of
might have been that too. I'm with you. Rogue One for me, honestly, probably my second favorite Star Wars movie all around. Like behind Empire,
it was really,
maybe tied with
really
Return
good.
of the Jedi. Yeah, I know, I loved it, because like they made, like, what I hated about. I mean, there's a lot to hate about the new saga, but like one thing that bothered me the most is like there was no like Star Wars. They weren't fighting in space really. There was hardly any like space battles, and like the space battle in Rogue One was awesome. Like them trying to get the shield open, and also pairing that with what's going on the ground. It was great. Yeah. It was so good. It was like what the battle Endor could have been, I think, like if they didn't go so much into the Ewoks. Because like the space scene in Return of the Jedi was unbelievable too. Like, you know, honestly, all the OGs space battle stuff was really good. But the newer Star Wars movies didn't really do that, or if they did, it was a really small scale, right? So like having these ships like have tactics, and the Y-wing's my favorite ship, who gets unfairly shit on so much. It is a tactical. It's like the A-10s of, you know, modern military. They're not fighters. They were only used in the original Tench Run because that's all they fucking had. Anyway, like the Y-wings are used correctly and like have a real purpose, and it was so much fun. I loved like the grittiness of it too. Like when Cassian kills his informant because he knows if he gets caught, he'll talk, and like how he, you know, is living with a shit, and like how it feels like a bad person, but he's still willing to die for his guy. I just thought it was good. I just thought it was really good.
Yeah, and especially cause, like, I mean, if you've seen the movies, you know what's gonna happen. Like in the back of your mind, like, you know they're not gonna get through it, kind of thing. Spoiler alert. I don't know if people haven't seen episode 4, but yeah, it's like I thought that was a cool thing too. It's like you want to root for them, you want to cheer for them, but like you know what's gonna happen. Like, you know it's futile, or not futile to their mission, but they're not getting out of there, kind of thing.
And I cried. Like, I had emotions in that movie. I cried when the fucking robot died. I cried. And I can't remember their names, but the guy that Donnie Yen plays and his buddy, like his death, and then the way his buddy, like, you know, who's been shitting on his faith, like takes his mantra and starts saying it as he's fighting, you know, basically as his buddy is dying, and like just so many beautiful moments. And it was like you felt like they're making a sacrifice for something, and it was like, I think it has so much more heart than the new ones did.
100%.
And that's why I was pumped for Disney owning Star Wars, because that was like the first thing they did. Like, this is fucking great. And then everything else happened. The shows are decent. Like, The Mandalorian's really, really, really good. The Boba Fett was good when it had The Mandalorian in it, but when it was outside of that, it wasn't great.
I've heard it wasn't that good. Yeah.
They just try to have their cake and eat it too with Boba Fett. They're like, he's badass, but also he doesn't want to hurt anybody. And I was like, that's weird. like
he's a bounty hunter.
he can be imperfect. Like, he can be kind of ruthless, but still be like
an anti-hero.
Kind of like what the Mando was. The Mandalorian is like, he still is a bounty hunter, and he's. Yeah. Anyway, we don't want to go slide down the Star Wars movie hole too too far. But speaking of movies, another thing we talked about, and I haven't done an episode about yet. I talked very briefly with Chari about it on the episode before this, but the second Sonic movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to lie, I saw it 4 times in theaters.
Wow.
Mostly because, well, I mean, I loved it. I enjoyed, but, I went and saw it with my kids twice, and then one of them, they wanted to go see it with their grandparents, so we went again, and then they wanted to take one of their friends to see it, so we saw it again.
So they really enjoyed it as well, is what you're saying.
So they're like, Dad, let's go see Sonic. I'm like, I guess so. It was like, it was nice to have fun. Like, of course, it's not The Godfather or Citizen Kane, but you're entertained and it's fun. And they're not making it's not like Halo where they're like, let's take this and like, let's make it super highbrow and just so complicated and dark. Like, no, he makes jokes, he eats chili dogs. They make a lot of dick jokes in that movie.
They surprisingly did.
Yeah. How'd you feel about it?
Before we get into that, I was just gonna say, like, because like you seeing a movie several times, I was just thinking, like, I haven't seen the same movie like more than once in like a short span in a long time. And I thought about it after seeing Sonic. I'm like, I don't know if I could like watch this. Like, I enjoyed it, but I'm like, I don't know if I could like sit through it super like in a short span again. Knowing kind of everything that happens, but like, I was thinking, like, as a kid, like, I remember watching the same movie like almost every day. So I don't know if it's just like when you're a kid, at least, like, I guess it's easier to rewatch stuff, or you just don't care as much that you already know what's going to happen, kind of thing.
I will say the pacing of the movie is really good too, so it doesn't ever drag. Like, there was never a part when I see it again, I'm like, oh god, when this part comes up, I'll go to the bathroom and get them more popcorn. Like, it for the most part, like, people bitch about the human scenes, but they weren't bad. I get like they did
sure,
because you have to space out the Sonic stuff. One, money. Two, you could eventually get bored of it. I think they paced it really well, and I'll be also honest with you. I'm on the spectrum. One of my kids is autism, so watching the same thing over and over is comforting to us.
Sure.
So that's another reason we're able to watch the same movies over and over.
Fair enough.
But even like his brothers and stuff, like, they were just pumped to see it. And there's also like, I think too, what helped. This is the first time we've really, really been out to the movies since the pandemic.
Sure.
So like, it was like we were out doing stuff. And we are watching we haven't got to go to the theater for 2.5 years, so it was like, it was the perfect movie to have that experience again in. Mm-hmm. I think, like, we saw Encanto, I think, in theaters, and Sing 2, but I don't know. And we also went and saw it, and like, it wasn't IMAX, but for us, there's like a really, really nice theater chain that it's a giant auditoriums, like, just it feels different seeing a movie there, so we went and saw it there. That also just like enhanced the experience big time for us.
Right.
So yeah, you just having like that movie being that entertaining paired with like this being the most normal, because even when we saw like Encanto and stuff, we still had to wear masks in theaters, and now that things are a lot easier and less scary, it feels more normal. So it was like Sonic 1 hit right before the pandemic, so everyone wanted to see movies before things went to shit. And then Sonic 2 comes out right after things start getting better. So it's hit the sweet spot, I think, for society, like, to be entertained and just want to shut their minds off.
Yeah.
I think you would enjoy it seeing again, because I think, I don't know, like, especially watching Jim Carrey even closer the second time around, even his background acting is hilarious. Like, dude's having the time of his life, and it made it really, really fun. Fellow Canadian, right?
Yeah, he is. He doesn't live here anymore, but that's the thing about a lot of Canadian actors. It's like they're Canadian, but they haven't lived in Canada for like 30 years or whatever.
You get to think that, like, some of the. I'll let you get back to your point, but I'm gonna give props to Canada. Like, the amount of amazing Canadian, especially comedic actors, Rick Moranis, right? Seth Rogen. Yep. John Candy, he was Canadian, right?
John Candy was.
I just remember him being in a lot of sketches. He is, yeah.
Let me fact check that.
Mike Myers.
Myers.
He is Canadian.
Yes.
And I know there's tons more, but like, just the amount of powerhouse Canadian actors that
I guess
have
we're just
graced
really
Hollywood.
funny.
You are. So I'll let you get back to your point. I wanted to shout out Canadian actors.
Yeah, no worries. Well, I guess I haven't answered your earlier question about what I thought of the movie. I thought it was good. I think as far as like a movie based on a video game, I think in my opinion it's probably the best one. I can't really think of one that I think is overall better. I think I said the same thing about Sonic 1, but I think this movie, well, I think I'd have to see it again. I think in my opinion, they're pretty on par with each other. I think they're both really good movies. I'd probably have to again give both a rewatch, honestly, to kind of iron out really which one I think is better. But yeah, I think it's probably the best video game movie based on a video game. So not like Ready Player One or anything that's video game adjacent, but not based on a video game. But yeah, as far as overall movie, like in a vacuum, not just like a video game or Sonic movie, it was pretty good. Again, like you mentioned the human scenes, I didn't really appreciate them, but I understand why they're there, so I couldn't hate on them too much. Like you said, I think for pacing and budget and stuff, but I think they're also there to kind of I don't want to say like be there for the normies, but if you're not a Sonic fan, like it kind of like, or if you're like older, I think they have to be in there for like kind of people to relate to almost. So it's not just like animated creatures running around. So it's, I guess, kind of grounds it in a reality for like if you're a parent taking your kids and you have no understanding of Sonic, you'd still get at least some enjoyment out of it. I think that's probably the goal for it. And they were fine. There was the one scene, I don't know if we want to get into spoilers, but
yeah, we good spoilers. Spoilers for Sonic 2 from now on.
I think it was like a gripe a lot of people had. I think it's the wedding scene where it kind of just drags on for like 15 minutes of just no Sonic things at all, not just Sonic characters. Just like you could have, like if you just watched that 15 minutes, you wouldn't even know it's a Sonic movie. It could have been anything else. And it's not like it wasn't a good scene. I just don't think it was a good scene in a Sonic movie, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
But I wasn't like super rubbed the wrong way with it. It was kind of just whatever. Like it was a 2-hour movie. It's not that big a deal on the grand scheme of things, kind of thing.
It would have made more sense if it would have had. Oh God, now I'm blanking on their names. The guy who James Morrison plays,
Donut Lord.
I
can't remember his actual
and his
name
wife, Pretzel Lady. If it would have had those two in it, it would have made more sense because they needed to have their relationship. Because the ultimate of the movie is about friends and family, and Sonic is a kid, and like I thought it was actually real emotional when they're like, before they're about to be basically killed, and they're like, they're like, no, we're gonna die with you, and they just kind of look off and just tell them they love them, and like that was actually really powerful for me. Like I guess maybe it's more because I have kids, so like that moment where like, you would die for your kids or die with your kids or whatever, that was like, wow, like they really love him. They love him unconditionally. Like he is craved since he lost his parental figure in the first movie,
right?
And then like the stuff with Tails, like hugging him because Tails, anybody who's ever been bullied and Tails being different, like like, oh, I'm your buddy, I'm your pal, like, and give him that big hug, like that was powerful, and I think that makes it's more impactful with those two being part of the story. But you're right, the wedding part with the sister and the handsome cop, you probably could have taken it out if you had to. I agree.
Yeah, sure. And then like other than that, I thought there was a decent amount of like cool references to the games. There was like the guy whips out the Sega Genesis instruction manual for the Big Mac. That was really cool. I think that. Yeah, Aegis Stone, yeah. I feel like underutilized character in this movie. I almost found like they kind of almost made him like too much of a simp. And it's kind of just like he's I don't know. I feel like I enjoy his presence in the movie, but I feel like they could have done a little bit more with him.
Yeah, I agree because he has that you see his range like and because he does a great job playing like lovable as simp as you said. But then when he gets stern with the cop that tries to bust him and he gets kind of like menacing. It's legit menacing. Like the guy, the actor who plays Agent Stone, I follow him on Twitter because he's a real wholesome dude. It's like like just a real happy Twitter follow.
Sure.
But like that dude he seems like he's got a lot of acting potential, and like I get like your focus needs to be Robotnik and Sonic and all that, but like that dude could have got some more screen time. I agree, and done some different stuff, and it would have been really good. Maybe substitute the wedding stuff with more stuff with him or something.
Yeah, there you go. Cause like they show him towards the end of the movie. So I assuming that means he's planning to come back for the third one. Maybe in a bigger role. Maybe he like takes over the Eggman Empire kind of thing. Assuming that Eggman's rip after that ending. But it kind of like it obviously shows that he's still alive and he's still being a bad guy kind of thing. So that'd be a cool plot if he like kind of takes over as the new head of Robotnik Industries or whatever. But what else I was gonna say? I guess the biggest thing, pretty hot take. I know a lot of people don't agree with me. Is I don't really like Jim Carrey as Eggman. I think he plays a really good Jim Carrey, but I don't think he plays a really good Eggman. Based on the source material. And I get, like, I think it's still a good character. Like, it's hard to, I guess, kind of explain what I mean. Is just like playing the Sonic games. I guess I just have like a mental image of what a Robotnik should be in my head, and for me, it's not someone that cracks. It's pretty much is not, I guess, Jim Carrey. It's not someone that just constantly cracks jokes and flosses and does this and that. It is a maniacal, like crazy, essentially crazy scientist guy, mad scientist. So I get that, like, he plays that angle of like a absolutely insane person pretty well. It's just, and I get humor has to be injected into the movie to obviously make it funny. But yeah, I don't know. I just personally don't find him to be too good of an Eggman. I think there's like just too much Jim Carrey in the Eggman rather than like an Eggman. At least from the source material. Again, like obviously that the character is open to interpretation or can be rewritten in different ways. But yeah, just personally, I guess it just doesn't. And again, it's just a me thing. It doesn't fit like my personal vision of what I think Eggman is. As more of like a, I guess, less funny, more diabolical kind of guy. Which I guess that's like the disconnect in my head anyway.
So I'm gonna say something that is also controversial and will never happen on the internet, and that's why I think talking to people is a really good thing instead of just online interactions. Is although I disagree with you, I don't think you're wrong either. I think you have very valid points. I think it's kind of like how things. I think it's all in translation, like you said. Robotnik, although it is a Sonic game, is arguably more menacing. Like in the games or even some of the shows, depending on which show you're watching. Obviously not Sonic Boom, but
yeah, and I think that's where they probably took a lot of inspiration, where he is like more of like a goofy scientist guy. Yeah,
I think the fear is, and if I was producing the movie, I probably would have gone the same route they did, only because if you have him be like a serious, actual menacing character, I think it makes the movie probably come off as pretentious.
Sure.
And probably doesn't connect with people, because I think, although like it could probably work, I think that the fact that he is almost as animated as the character that he hates makes it more believable, because he's not grounded like a human. Like I think you have to be crazy to interact with Sonic the way he does, and I just. It's like taking a movie from a book from... I don't know if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, but obviously they change so much from the books to the movies. And the movies are fucking fantastic. Or they combine characters and leave them out. Just because you have X amount of runtime and you have to tell a story in just a different way. I think I agree with you, but I also see why they did it this way. If that makes any sense.
100%. I mean, I see it too. Again, for similar reasons I went over earlier. I think just having that name on the ticket, I think, is a big pull for a lot of people.
I didn't like the casting at first, to be honest with you. When I saw it was Jim Carrey, I was like, oh really? I think that might be a little bit. So like, I think initially I felt the same exact way you did.
Sure. I was also like thinking like maybe I would have like keeping him as a character, but I also thought, like, toyed around with the idea in my head of like, what if Robotnik was also like like you said, like an animated character, like they just like tossed in like a 3D animated like looking Robotnik from like the classic Sonic games, and he just like came to that dimension the same way Sonic and everyone else did, where it's just like, this is what humans look like on this planet kind of thing. I think that would have been a cool thing too, where it's like, even if it was Jim Carrey, it was just like there's this super animated, goofy, funny bad guy, that's like a funny looking 3D human from a different dimension or whatever. I thought that would have been a cool thing as well. I don't know what your thoughts on that would be.
I definitely, I think it would have been great for the way they told the second movie story, because this like they went obviously more hammy for the second one, more over the top. I think it might have been harder in the first one because almost all the scenes are just Tom. It's Tom. Oh, it came back to me. His name's Tom. Tom Wazowski.
Tom Wachowski, I think.
Are most just him and Sonic acting. Like, I think
right.
the budget was probably low enough, and just the way, because and the shooting, just the way they did all of it, because it was trouble development, if I remember correctly. Sony Pictures had the rights to it, and they're like, yeah, fuck it. And Paramount's all right, dumbasses, we'll take it, because Sony can't make a decent movie of any fucking kind when it comes to IPs to save their lives.
Did they do Uncharted?
Did they? They might have. Uncharted wasn't bad, actually.
I haven't seen it.
It's not. I've never played the Uncharted games, so
Same.
just from a strictly movie standpoint, it was entertaining. It was an entertaining movie.
I feel like that's a lot of, not even just video game movies, but like any movie based on other source material. It's like if you don't watch, or you don't read, watch, play, or whatever the source material, you probably almost appreciate it more because you don't know if it's like hitting the right notes or not. You're kind of just like taking it at face value.
I think that's why I like Moon Knight so much, is I don't know the Moon Knight comics at all.
Yeah, fair enough. And like, I mean, we talked about the Halo stuff, and you said you're not a big Halo fan, but like, I'm thinking like I've played very few Halo games, so it's like I wonder if I went into that show, like if I would enjoy it, because I don't really have much of a frame of reference of like what Master Chief should be, or like what these characters, all this like should be kind of thing.
There's nudity in it, so like it's got that going for it. It's a lot of butts, a lot of men and women butts. It's a little bit for everybody.
There you go. But yeah, I feel like if you watch a movie or whatever, like if you don't know the references or don't know like how a character quote unquote should be, you probably just enjoy it more because you're just like, oh, this is cool. This is a cool movie. I don't know what half of this stuff means, but I'm enjoying it, kind of thing.
And yeah, I think you need both fans for those movies to succeed. I want to finish real quick. I want to finish your Robotnik question. Sure. Like I said, I think it would be perfect for the second movie if they did that. I don't think I agree with you. I think it might have actually been a pretty interesting concept, and I would have liked it. I just think the way they filmed the first one with like him and Tom, Robotnik and Tom interacting like they did, it might have made it a lot harder to do. So I think, as an idea standpoint, yes, I think I agree with you. I think that would have been a really, really interesting idea, and maybe played up to the Sonic feel a little bit more. But I don't know practically how it would have worked for them on that. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But yeah, like for Jim Carrey, I enjoyed some of the stuff from the movie, like some of the like the smaller details where it's like, okay, he was in a different universe for however long, and like he comes back and he's like still flossing because he doesn't know that it's like went out of style. Like he still thinks it's hip, kind of thing.
He's literally mad. Like he lost his mind being alone. Like, and he plays that the whole movie, and it's really good. That's the part of the character that I did enjoy. That he was like pretty crazy, like in terms of just like isolated from society for how long. But again, like some of the stuff was just like too much Jim Carrey. Like we're at the end, like where he was about to defeat him, and he's like, "Oh, I guess we're not friends anymore." I just thought that was like a little bit too corny for the character. It's like yeah, okay, it's just Jim Carrey playing like liar or whatever from whenever go in a Sonic movie. And it's who he is as like an actor, which I get. But I almost feel like he wrote half the lines for himself in that movie, where it's just like ad-libbed. Like it wasn't in the script. He kind of just like injected his own jokes. Maybe not, but I can see that.
Yeah, which for better or for worse. Again, I'm not like I didn't hate him as a Robotnik, but I thought it had some good, had some bad kind of thing. Yeah.
Also, like taking the knife out of the back of your fellow Canadians, sir. You guys got to stick together.
That's right.
Words, brain. It's happening. It's connecting. There were like, I don't know, something I've noticed more. And bigger budget movies, and it was not as egregious in Sonic. I think they let about it, but there's like going back in like how almost every Marvel property or in every live action Disney property in the last like 5 to 10 years, how lazy background CGI is, like green
Okay.
screen type technology. Like now
Sure.
they have that one thing that they use in the Mandalorian, and they used it in the new Batman movie too, and it looks a lot better than green screen. There was a few moments in this movie where like the green screen, like the not real background, was like kind of jarring. That was like my biggest complaint that took me out of a little bit. Is like, I think it was when they're in the cave and Robotnik and Knuckles flies in, and how the background just did not look real, feel real, and they feel like they were like superimposed onto it.
Okay.
Those were probably my biggest complaints in the movie, and like it's nowhere near as bad as like half the Marvel CGI. Like fucking Black Widow scene was like really, and I love Marvel movies. So it's not me being like, oh, Marvel bad, haha, see, we all hate it. No, but they do. I do like feel like there's a certain degree of laziness or cheapness because CGI is cheaper than practical stuff.
Right.
You know, like there's a. I'm trying to remember the name of the YouTube channel. Oh gosh. Crap. Here, you have a thought for a second. I gotta look it up because I want to give credit to this YouTuber real quick.
Is like a CGI YouTuber?
I think he's not a CGI. He's just he kind of does breakdowns of random movies, like just movies he likes. Has nothing to do if they're good or bad or not. Pointless Hub. There we go. He only has like 5 videos out. I think it's a second channel for a more bigger YouTuber who I don't know. But he did a really good breakdown of the first couple Michael Bay Transformers movies, and he talked about how back then, and that was I think 2010-ish when the first one came out, 2009 maybe.
Yeah.
That those movies were shit on by being giant over the top blockbusters like what Marvel's accused of now, but at least for the first Transformers movie, that was obviously not like the transforming part, but stuff blowing up, cars drive around.
Yeah.
The places they were all real places. Like it
Right.
was not CGI. They built like sets. They filmed on location, and they actually, at least the first movie, not the other ones, because it turns into a CGI mess. Like the later you get in the movies, looks really good, holds up really, really well in terms of that kind of stuff, and I just noticed it a little bit. And that was my biggest complaint because I felt bad. I felt like I was courting you and having you say all the bad things and me saying all the good things about the movie. So I want to make sure I got out my complaint about it.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking up the Pointless Hub. So yeah, that's I think it's the same guy that does Alternate History Hub. I remember. I think I've seen his Battleship video. I remember watching that.
That was really good too.
The video was good. The movie wasn't that good.
No, the movie was so bad. Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting pretty deep into the podcast, but I could go on a whole rant about that fucking movie. Like, why big budget a board game movie? Like Jumanji makes sense because you can turn that to anything.
Yeah.
And then like they take that guy from, was it Jack Reacher? Like that big Disney movie, like with the guy on Mars, and like they spent like $200 million on it and made like no money.
I can't remember.
No, Jack Reacher's I think
That's Tom Clancy.
Yeah, no, so it's not Jack Reacher. Oh god, something Mars and a superhero, and it was really, really bad. It was like one of Disney's biggest failures. I think it was even,
Like recent?
no, it was probably before Marvel got really big, or right around like Marvel, beginning of Marvel.
Okay. This is like live action?
Yeah. John Carter. 2012.
I don't think I've seen that one.
No one did. It's actually the problem. Yeah, 52% Rotten Tomatoes, 51%.
Oh, gotcha.
It was the guy that was the fullback in, it was a big Disney thing. He was the fullback in the Friday Night Lights TV show. And he also got killed in the bathroom banging a girl and snakes on a plane.
Oh. That's one scene to remember him from.
Yep. He's not a very good actor. This is why I was like, he also played Gambit in the X-Men Origins, was also a shit movie. And this is not me looking up anything. This is how my brain works, and I have all this information in my head of this shit.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's bad. So Sonic movie. I'm trying to think of anything else we didn't cover. We talked about the human stuff. Oh, Idris Elba's Knuckles. How'd you feel?
I thought it was good. I mean, I didn't really have any complaints or too much. I don't want too much praise for it. I thought it was good. I think they kind of made Knuckles a little bit too naive in that movie, which I guess kind of makes sense considering like he's never been around humans, so he doesn't know that they can be pretty deceptive. But some of it was like he just had no like reservation at all. He just like trusted everyone. Well, no, so I guess that was the other thing. He like they made it seem like he didn't trust anyone, but he also was super trusting of Robotnik at the same time, which was kind of weird.
Blind to what he perceived to be nobility and also his vengeance, and I don't think they conveyed that very well. I think they were trying to show that he was blind because he wanted vengeance so bad, and then he got cleared up. But they didn't translate that part very well.
And I think that makes sense. I think because like I don't know, they've kind of like are transition or in the past like 10 years have made Knuckles almost into like a meathead. Like he's just not very smart. But in past Sonic games, like he was pretty Knuckles was like pretty intelligent. Like in Adventure 1, Adventure 2, like maybe like kind of blinded in trust because he just doesn't cue into like deception and stuff in those movies. But I think they didn't get the worst balance of it in Sonic 2, but it was kind of a little bit too much just naivete, at least until the end where he kind of like learns to trust people, but or like, learns to kind of be careful who you trust, I guess. Rather. So they didn't completely miss the mark, I think, but they made him at least a little bit too naive, I think, at least in the first like 75% of the movie. Almost to a fault, I'd say. But again, these are very minor complaints. I thought overall, the character was written well, voice acting was really good. I'm a big Knuckles stan, so I always enjoy Knuckles in any form. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
My kids love the ... scene. I laughed my ass off, and I think it was credit to Idris Elba's voice acting when he's like getting all pissed off, like getting ready, like I'm gonna fucking kill all your robots, and he goes, "Oh, they are stairs. I don't know why."
Yeah, that was funny. That was a funny scene.
That killed me. I love that, just the way he delivered that, like coming out of the rage into the. And I just watched. I'm a big fan of the movie Pacific Rim. Have you seen that?
I think I've seen it. I don't remember. Is that with Matt Damon?
No. It is with a
Which
generic white guy who looks like Matt Damon. But Idris Elba is one of the main characters in that movie.
Pacific Rim.
And
I haven't seen this. I have. It's the kaiju and the robot battles, right? Yeah, okay. I've seen it once when it like first came out. I don't remember much about it.
Watch it again. It's so it's like what a big monster movie should be. It's so fucking fantastic. And it's Del Toro, and he loves monsters. Like it got treated that way.
Right.
They made a second one without him, and it was real weird. And it had what's his name from Star Wars, the guy who played Finn. And he kept making sexual jokes to this like 14-year-old girl in it, and it was real weird. Jeez, it was not a good movie. Don't watch the second one. The first one's fantastic. Okay. I bring that up because like the dude's got an impressive vocal range in terms of with his voice. So like I don't know. I just watched that and had like hearing that rage is like the same rage he'd put into Pacific Rim when he's like doing these like big speeches and like then slip into humorous Knuckles. I thought it was really well done. And Tails getting the voice actor from, trying to remember all her credits for the voice acting of Tails.
I don't know which games she did. Yeah, I think her name's like Colleen Shaughnessy or something.
Oh, Shaughnessy.
Yeah, I don't know exactly which Sonic games she's done, but I think that's the coolest thing. Where it's like they got like the voice actress from the video game to.
Yeah, she was in Sonic Boom for sure. I do know that.
Okay.
But I don't think she did as much as a Sonic Boom voice as the other like ones that she's done. Let me look, because I think it felt a little more raspier. I don't know if raspier is the right word, but like it was definitely more unique. It did not feel like it was generic Tails voice. Like it felt. Wow, she's unbelievable amount of credits. Holy shit, this has to be hundreds of credits for her voice acting in here. It's not making it easier, lady. Stop working so I can read things better.
So it looks like a bunch of the Sonic games since Sonic Generations. Okay. Yeah. Sonic Colors, actually. Since Colors, that's the first Sonic game I see on IMDb here.
Team Sonic Racing. Hey, it's actually a really underrated game. I like that game.
I haven't played it yet. I think I have it. I just haven't played it yet.
I bought it because my kids saw one of you get minus four guys play it, I think, and they're like, we really want that, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's pretty cool. And then we played it, and they're like, oh, we don't like the team part of it as much. And I'm like, I can't beat this game without your help. Help your dad. And like,
get back here and play.
You little shits. Yeah. So yeah, no, I think I agree with your critiques of it. I think. Okay. So before we start wrapping up the podcast, did you feel like the shadow reveal was ham-fisted, or are you excited for that to be a thing?
I am excited for it. I don't know. Again, I don't really have a major complaint about it. I mean, it would have been cool. I get the mid-credits hype-up thing, but I don't know. I think that would have been a cool thing to kind of hide until they like kind of announce the first movie or announce the third movie, like have a teaser for it. I feel like it'll just build more hype later than kind of just build hype now, and then it's just not there essentially until it gets teased anyway. So you kind of have a flash in the pan, and people, I guess, forget about it until maybe not forget about it, but just it's just not on people's minds until the next movie teaser comes out. I thought it was cool. I think it was short enough that it was just like, I mean, just like Tails was after the first movie. It's like they show him for like a second or two. So I thought it was cool. I think it opens the door for a cool plot for the next movie, because I guess like the first two movies here kind of follow the plots loosely of like Sonic's 1 through 3. So I guess now that they're introducing Shadow, it might cover kind of plot points from Sonic Adventure 1, 2, maybe even Shadow the Hedgehog. So I think it just opens the door for, as far as like an antagonist, it opens the door for a lot. But on the flip side, I feel like it's going to be kind of similar to the Knuckles arc, where it's like, is a villain for most of the movie, but then probably turns good at the end. So I don't know how they're going to handle it, but I just hope it's not too similar to like how Knuckles was, where it's like, yeah, antagonist turns good eventually kind of thing.
That is also my fear. Was Shadow in the game where they had the flying semi-truck with the gun license plate? Was that one of the Sonic Adventures?
So it wasn't flying. Like the flying one was like when they remade the level in Generations. The original one is just like the big semi-truck driving down San Francisco essentially. That's Sonic Adventure 2. Yeah.
I like that a lot. That's a really
cool. That's where Shadow's first introduced. I think I said Sonic Adventure 1 earlier, but yeah, he was first introduced in 2 back in the day.
I love that game. I think it was on the GameCube I got it, and then I bought it off of Steam, and I don't know if it's also probably because I'm simple, but I could not figure out how to sync a controller to it. I do not want to play keyboard. But
yeah, there's a way. I think it's like one of those games where it has like before it launches, it has like the pre-launch like menu where I think you have to configure it there, if I remember correctly.
I appreciate that because my kids really want to play, and I'm like, I don't know how to make the controller work, guys. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I remember it being kind of complicated. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's one of those games. But I know the Steam version of that game. It's not hated, but I think it's like considered to be the worst release. I don't know why. I don't know all the ins and outs, but
I have a working
whenever I played it, it runs fine. I just played it last week. I streamed it last week, and it ran fine, and I thought it was okay. But I just people in the comments were saying like, "Oh, which version are you playing?" And I said it was the Steam. They're like, "Oh, it's like the worst version or whatever for one reason or another." But yeah, I think.
Is that a YouTube stream or a Twitch stream?
YouTube. Yeah, I haven't streamed on Twitch in a while. I want to do that hopefully sometime this week or next week.
I don't know why YouTube never alerts me to streams. Like, and it's really frustrating.
It's weird the way they do it. From what I understand, it only sends out notifications to like a portion of people.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. It's really weird.
You would want all the people, I would think.
Yeah, I don't know. It might base it on like if you don't click on one notification, YouTube thinks you're not interested. Like maybe let's say you were like, maybe not you specifically, but any person is like away from their phone when a notification goes live, and then by the time they see it, the stream's done. Maybe YouTube sees that, okay, this person's not interested in streams, will no longer send notifications for streams, kind of thing. And I think the YouTube algorithm's kind of really picky for that, or it's like if you don't interact with a video or a creator like a handful of times, even if you're subscribed, I think the algorithm sees you as like a uninterested subscriber, or they'll push less and less of that creator's content towards you,
which I hate I'm not even a YouTube content creator, but as a person who just consumes the content. Shout out D-Pad's second channel, Consume Content. Like you know, sometimes because my kids use my YouTube account, they'll watch a bunch of stuff, and then like, you know, some people I haven't watched but haven't had a chance to, like, it doesn't pop up, and I'll honestly sometimes just there's enough stuff out there you forget about things sometimes, and you're like, and then it pops up eventually again. You're like, oh, what the hell has this been? Like, I really like this creator. That's really like right now. Because I'm old, and it's a really bad habit. I'm a big NFL football fan, right?
Okay.
And I wanted to watch a 7-minute video on one of the quarterbacks of the draft. So I started it. I passed out probably not even 2 minutes in because I'm just old, and it's what I do. But it kept playing, obviously, and like went with videos, a similar one. And then my recommended the next day was all these football things. I'm like, that's not why I watch YouTube. I don't watch YouTube for football. Stop telling me I want this. God damn it.
Yeah. Algorithms can be really weird like that. I feel like the same thing on both TikTok and Facebook. It's like something I'll just like stop, like I'll just scroll through Facebook and I'll stop on whatever like for like 2 seconds, and then I guess the algorithm thinks that I'm interested in it, and it starts showing me like a lot of the same thing, and I'm like, no, I don't really care about this. I like scrolled on it for like 2 seconds and I moved on. Or on TikTok, like sometimes you get like into a rabbit hole of the TikTok algorithm where it's like just stuff I just have zero interest in, and I just keep seeing it. I'm like, stop. So yeah, I don't know. As quote unquote good as some algorithms can be, it's like, yeah, if you kind of mess up, it can really like screw you over like for quite a while until it kind of, I guess, corrects itself or whatever.
I'm gonna come off as a pervert, and I swear to God I'm not. But my buddy just bought Animal Crossing. Okay. So and he asked for a name for his island, and I said Bud Island because I'm immature, and I thought that was funny. Just Bud Island, because he honestly wanted like to name it something really like, he wanted it to sound elegant, and I was like, of course I'm not going to give an elegant answer. That's what he wants. I'm going to give him a stupid answer because that's what friends do. So I said Bud Island, and he said Animal Crossing should be one place where we're safe from all this immaturity and what was the word he used? This should be sacred and innocent is basically what he said. Okay. And I was like, oh, do you not know about the Egyptian cat meme thing?
Oh God.
So I looked up on YouTube and sent it to him, and now it's, I bet you when I go to look at my YouTube recommended stuff, it's gonna be like, hey, do you want to see this busty cat dance? I'm like, no, that's not what I want. I just want to show a meme. I swear to God, I'm not weird.
That's funny.
Transition before we wrap it up. It's not new news, and this is a really weird transition. I apologize, but I might be new for some people. You have a second cat.
I do. I have 2 cats now.
They are long-haired cats, right? You got fluffy kitties.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're considered. Well, they're not like super long-haired cats. They're not. I guess there's no like medium. Well, I don't know. Personally, I think of them as like a medium-haired cat, but they're both pretty floofy and. Well, one of them doesn't shed very much, at least not visibly, but one of them sheds quite a bit. It's always a hassle to wrangle all the little stray hairs all the time. But yeah.
Are they how is their bond? Do they tolerate or do they love each other?
They get along pretty well. When we first introduced them, they would kind of spar and tackle each other, and they still kind of do every once in a while, but they're pretty chill together now. They almost kind of keep to themselves more now. But when they do see each other, they hang out. They both sit on the couch together, so they don't they don't hate each other, which is good.
I didn't have cats growing up, and like the one you see all these cat videos on YouTube of cats that's like loving each other. So you know, we had last year at this time we had 3 cats. One was older, and unfortunately he was dying. And he never cared for our younger cat that we had. Like, he'd tolerate her. I was like, fine. And then we ended up adopting another one he's not a kitten, but he's not old either. The older one ended up passing. So, and at the time, the older one hated the new cat, right? So like he would just straight up attack him and fight. And so we had to keep them separated. But the younger cat and our new cat seemed to really start getting along and bonding. And I was like, oh, this could be... At least they have each other. Because the older cat was always more focused on me with the humans anyway. So he passes. I'm like, oh, these guys are going to love each other. They were playing and they'd hang out. They fucking hate each other now. Like...
Oh, jeez.
They're like... so their boy girl. The girl cat hates the boy. The boy is too dumb to realize that she hates him and just wants to play. So they don't hate each other. One hates one, and the other is just too simple to understand that he's not necessarily wanted, and he just wants to play. He wants to play with his sister.
Yeah.
He'll go up and he'll bop her and like wait for her to run, and she'll be like hiss at him and just like run away. And he's like, "Why did you leave? I thought we were going to play." And it's so sad.
Yeah, cats are funny that way.
They're fucking adorable. Are you going to get a third? You think? You feeling 3?
Eventually, maybe.
Did you go kitten route with either one, or you always been just adopt the one that feels right?
Both have been, yeah. Well, the first one was just rescued because it felt right.
Yeah.
He just looked right. I was just like looking at a rescue website. The second one, my parents actually, one of their neighbors found on the streets, and my parents took him in because they've had at least some experience with cats, so they've had him for a while. They just aren't home enough during the day and stuff to take care of him, so they're like, "Oh, you're home all the time." So they asked if I wanted him, so I'm like, "Yeah,
they're
sure,
like,
I'll
you don't
take
go outside, take this."
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm a big. All our cats are rescues. The 2 surviving ones. One I had told you before. Her whole litter got dumped in a field a couple years ago,
yeah.
and my girlfriend at the time was working at an office by a factory, and all the kittens came in there because it was warm. So every single kitten got adopted and has a home.
Nice.
And then Dave, who's the new one, we went into PetSmart to get some fish, and then they had a adoption event, and he was just so chill. He just would just like hang out and look at everybody. And I was like, that's a chill cat. And we took him because we looked at another cat and it wanted to run the whole time, but we got him out, and he's just like, "Hey, what's up? I'm gonna hang out in your arms." Like, this is pretty fun.
Chill cats are awesome.
Oh, he's so cool. I love it. And so yeah, just took him home on a whim, but he was still a rescue. I didn't. He had a brother, but they weren't like where they couldn't be separated. And the brother was sick, and like they actually weren't living together at that point. So I was like, I don't feel as bad adopting him and not his brother. So yeah, we're a big rescue family here too. So
nice. Yeah.
I think that's a pretty wholesome way to end the episode.
I think so too.
You got anything you want to plug before we go?
Check out my channel if you'd like. TetraBitGaming, not .com, youtube.com/TetraBitGaming. Got some more videos coming soon, so subscribe if you're not already. What else? Check me out on Twitch if you want some nice chill vibe streams. Follow me over on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/TetraBitGaming. I try to stream there at least once a month. I like to think of them as very relaxing streams, and we just kind of hang out, and I hope to see you there.
I will attest to the chillness of the Twitch streams. I think I very intensely started watching Twitch streams when we started doing marbles. For whatever reason, I found that to be so relaxing, but yet fun.
I want to do that again. It's been a while since I did that.
Marbles was a good time because everyone was like invested. Like I tried doing my own marble streams, and there'd be like 3 people, and it wasn't as fun. But you had like 30, 40 people racing. It was a blast.
Yeah, that's the thing. The more people you have, the better, and that's kind of almost why I'm almost like apprehensive of doing it again. I'm just scared I won't have enough people for it to be interesting. But I definitely want to try it again for sure sometime.
Yeah, then it's like it's good community. It's good vibes, as the kids say, and
yeah, exactly.
It's a good time. I think the first one I remember you doing was like Zelda Switch game, Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, you did. I was like, I think it was when I first started watching your streams. I watched your videos at that point, but and then I later learned that you're not a huge fan of that game. So I was like, that's kind of weird that I associate you with that game because it was the first streamer I watched you do, but it's not really what you associate yourself with.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah,
check out all your stuff. Are you still TikToking? I know you were for a while, or.
I got back into. I mean, I'm kind of on and off. Whenever an idea clicks or whenever there's a trend that I feel like I can kind of hop on, I'll go back. I just did 1 or 2 TikToks this week. Check that out if you haven't already.
I saw the Boo one. That's the one that made me think because I was expecting to do the "Hey, I'm Boo," but it wasn't. It was the actual
this time
sound.
It's actually the door.
And in fact, I was a little bit taken aback when it wasn't the joke I was expecting. I was like, "Oh, way to subvert my expectations."
Yeah, my TikTok's just going to become door memes.
I don't mean to sidetrack while we're ending, but I'll send it to you. But the guy who does the "Did you know?" like, and it's like video games and movies, and it's like really obvious facts. He's gotten to the point where he shows his face when he does them now, and like it shouldn't bother me as much as it does, but because I started doing the "Did you know?" memes, and like it was like, did you know that Sonic is blue? Like, because that's the level of his facts, and like I feel bad. The guy's apparently doing enough to make money, but it's like you're showing your face and you're not giving us good facts, you arrogant son of a bitch. Should not made me as frustrated as I was, but I was.
Yeah.
For Damage Boost, do you have a Patreon if you want to join it? I had it shut down for a little bit, but it's back now that we're making episodes and streaming. I didn't want to, obviously take money when we weren't creating anything, but now that we're back to creating thing and we gotta pay for hosting and all that, we'll get back to that. Damage Boost Pod on Twitter, Damage Boost Podcast on TikTok, Damage Boost Pod, just Damage Boost on YouTube. So thanks again. This has been fun. It was a good grab bag. We forgot to actually grab the things out of the bag. We'll just say I dumped it on the table. And and we just read from what was spilled on the table. That's the lore we're going with for this episode. All right. With that being said, thanks everybody. Be good people.